Hello there everybody, this is Russ Bucher, the developer of ControlMyJoystick, and in this video we're going to take a look at how we could tweak the user interface of ControlMyJoystick. Now by default, when you install ControlMyJoystick, you'll see it kind of has this dark gray and blue accent color scheme, but you can change that. So let's see how we can do that. So to do it, you just go up to the View menu. And we have some things that we can do here, but let's go to themes. This collection of fonts and colors and things like that, that's a theme. And by default, we have the graphite theme. So let's change it. So you could pick any one of these themes here. And you just pick one that's the easiest on your eyes. So let's say instead of graphite, I wanted to use autumn sky instead. Now let's try some different ones. Air. And these brighter themes look a little bit better when there's a lot of light in your room where your computer monitor is. And if you like something kind of retro, you can take a look at Terminal 4-bit. And basically pick whatever one that you like. I'm going to bring it back to this one right here. Now for each theme, you can adjust the hue, saturation, and brightness. So if I change the hue, you can see how this accent color is changing. And you have to drag it and then release it, and then it will update the color. And you can also change the saturation. So here, the color isn't quite as intense. Drag it and release. Here, very intense. And you could change the overall brightness of the theme as well. So one of these setting combinations here should allow you to find a color scheme that works well for you. Now if you click on Reset to Defaults, that'll just reset the hue, saturation, and brightness back to defaults. So if you cancel out of here, it's going to cancel what you've selected and just return back to its theme that you had when you went into it. So let's go back into it and we'll make this a wild and crazy theme here. Let's go here and down to the matrix, but I don't like the green. There we go. And we'll dial the saturation down a bit. Bring the brightness up. And there we go. And now the next time you start up the application, this is going to be the theme that you have. So again, it's just pick whatever color you like. So I'm just going to go back here, themes, back to graphite. Graphite, where is graphite? There it is. Then I'll reset it to defaults here. Okay, so that's how you could set the colors. Now, you can also change the size of the fonts and the buttons. So depending on how large of a monitor you have, and especially in Windows 10, devices now, like Windows Surface, kind of their tablets that Microsoft has, sometimes you want to change the user interface elements, and you can quite often do that natively through the operating system, tell it to scale. But you can also do it here. So if you go to the View menu, you could say, okay, scale to 125%. You can see how it got larger. That includes your buttons and your fonts. And you can bring it back. There's one for 150%. It's pretty big. So let's bring it back to 100%. Just do that. So set it for whatever size is comfortable for your eyes. Now, if things are really too small, you can always go to the magnifier and you can drag this around and magnify things. So that's 2 times, you can go to 8 times. Might be useful on an extremely small monitor. So I'm going to right click to close it. Now you also have these sliders, so you just click on it. I'm just going to resize this back to get it within the video window here. That should do it. Okay, so so you can move these sliders around. There's one there, one here, and one here. And if you ever get these kind of messed up and you wanted to snap them back to the default, you can go to the view and reset. All right, now you can also set the program to stay on top. And now with this check mark here, that means that no other program can sit above this. So that can be real handy sometimes when you need to have this up so you can see your configuration and your profiles while you're setting up a game. I'm just going to take that off. Now you also have tooltips. You might have seen some popping up. So for example, here is the tooltip for profiles, and here's one for creating a new macro. So if you go here and turn off tooltips, then no more tooltips. You might find tooltips be useful when you're learning to use the software, but after a while, once you're used to it, they just kind of get in the way, and you could turn them off. Now there's right-click menus pretty well everywhere. So if you right-click here, there's a menu down here. There's one here, here, and on this left sidebar here, we have some functionality here. So here shows the profile. So I'm just going to close this and open up the voice information. And these are the voice commands that are currently configured. And you can right-click, and actually this will copy the entire list to clipboard, so you can maybe print that out so you have a voice command list. And here's your 3DXware, and you can right-click here, and I'm just moving around the controller a bit. Joystick. It's going to right-click here, and here you can configure joystick buttons. And here's a log. And here you can put a check mark beside the type of log item you want. By default, they're all checked. So sometimes, maybe when you're setting up a script, you'll only want to see script information. You just uncheck everything else and keep the script checked. And this here shows you the threads that are currently running. And each thread is used by a script. So let's say, for example, you press a button on your controller or have a voice command, and that causes a trigger to fire and a macro to run. It will show that the currently running macros in this list. And you can right click on it and you can terminate a currently running macro or take them all out. And we have other menus here up as well. But a lot of the functionality you'll see up here is duplicated in the right click menus. So that's it. That's how to tweak the user interface and control my joystick. Have fun.